WTIM.
And we're back with the WTIM Morning Show here on your information station and brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Grayson Bauman. Joining us in this segment, we have co-president of the Christian County Historical Society, Jody Heberling. Jody, good morning. How are we?
Good morning. I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Glad to have you here, Jody. And the first thing we want to talk about is something that you've recently had to get out into the public and let the folks know about, that Christmas dinner. Just want you to be able to touch on that to start here.
We had some things come up this year, so we've had to cancel our Christmas dinner for the 5th and the 6th. And we hope to bring it back next year. And we're sorry that we had to cancel it. It is one of our bigger fundraisers, and things happen. So that's about all you can say. We did have a really successful persimmon party, though.
And let's dive into that. How was said persimmon party? Because I believe you had a fairly decent weather weekend.
It was we couldn't have asked for better weather, and we had quite a gathering of people from various places. Between word of mouth and stuff, it's out there that we have that almost the first November every year. And there's people that's quite faithful to it and come back and get the pulp and are ready to do their own cooking.
Well, we've talked about the pulp and how difficult that is, but I figured some of those returners would be right back there around for you. I know we did a bake-off as well. We had the persimmon bake-off. How'd that go? How many entries did we maybe have?
We didn't have as many as we've had some years, and I'm terrible because I can't tell you who won. So, but we did have entries in all the divisions, and there were several bakers, and we had a couple of judges, and it went very well.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I know we were giving away, doing a drawing. Was that on a ghost quilt? Was that what it was?
Yes. Actually, it was quite successful, and I think Mrs. Broniger won it.
Okay.
I could be wrong on that, but we've got several quilters on our board, and they put the quilt together, saw the book, and then put the quilt together, and it really made a nice little package deal. Very
cool. Yeah, I was honestly, a ghost quilt sounds pretty cool to me as a 26-year-old man, but that's beside the point. I would have been happy about that myself. So in terms of the bake-off, then we had the ghost quilt drawing as well. And then we had the Gene Callan's famous barbecue dinner. Now, I know that's with the Genealogical Society helping do so, but that part was also there?
That was there, and I think they made extra. We had a car show out there that brought in extra people. So they had a very profitable day and was excited. I think they only had a 5-pound bag left of what they had planned to use that day. So, and they had figured in extra. So they were pretty happy.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Was that the 40-mile-per-hour club that came out? And
yes, it was.
And that was the first time around this year they'd done so.
Right. I think they'll be back. They enjoyed it. And we do have shade and sun and whatever you want to have. So it worked out real nice.
So for you, now this next go around, we're thinking the car kind of show will come back. We're going to continue probably with the Gene Callan famous barbecue dinner, bake-offs and drawings and things like that. Did you have anything that you went, man, I want to do this next year? Was there anything that kind of stuck out to you that you went, let's try that maybe?
No, but we're always looking for ideas and ways to raise money. So if somebody has an idea, don't be afraid to share it.
Sure.
Because so many things, they get in a rut and it's hard to get out of that rut. So, and raising funds, we are a nonprofit, no government funding. And so it's a job keeping the doors open between the electricity bill and the insurance. So
there is, and every cost is seemingly rising on everybody right now. And without that federal funding, without that state funding, then we need that community support. And so I'm really glad to hear the Persimmon Party did receive as much of it as it did. You mentioned to me when it came to the pulping process, you had talked about the seed or the seeds. And you told me they were kind of spoonish, kind of forkish. We went with maybe more of a spork. Okay. And you'd mentioned to us that indicates there might be some weather coming our way.
Correct.
What about that weather that's coming our way and the persimmons that might have told us about it?
Well, actually, we had more spoons when the mass of them, they
Okay.
were spoons. There were a few sporks in there, but spoons is snow, knives is ice, or knives is cold cutting winds, and forks is ice and not too bad, not a lot of snow, but you're still going to have some weather. But
Gotcha.
So it was calling for snow, and if that sneaks down on us, we could get some snow this weekend. And then they always say that the first tracking snow, that's how many snows you're going to have. So this is along the end of the month, so that's a lot of them.
Okay. Well, I don't like to hear that. And it was interesting though that I saw you were on the schedule here today, and I went, oh, I remember Jody telling me about the persimmon seed, actually kind of telling you about the weather. So I was hoping I remembered that correctly, and very cool that that was a whole part of it. Anything else though, Jody? I got us kind of on a side tangent there for a second. Anything else when it comes to that persimmon party and how it went?
It's just something that we do every year, thanks to Glenn Push, who started all the persimmon trees on the grant. Not all of them. He increase the number of persimmon trees on the grounds, and it's unique. Mm-hmm. There's just not a lot of competition for that, so that is good.
No, you have found your niche when it comes to the persimmon party, and I'm very glad to hear that it went as well as it did. Now you've got another deal coming up here relatively soon. What's going on?
Well, we are going to try a ham and bean drive-through dinner on January 4th. We will serve from 11 to 1:30, or we run out, whichever one comes first. You will get a shy quart of ham and beans and cornbread for $10. And you just drive in the back and drive out the front. And we will be selling advance tickets, or at least taking a head count. If you know you're going to do it, leave us a message on the phone, send us a message on Facebook, so we can get a head count to know how much to make.
Well, so we're doing a quart of ham and bean soup, or however you want to look at it, but ham and beans is what I've always just called it. But so ham and beans, you get some cornbread with that, and then that's about a $10 fee for it.
Correct.
And that doesn't sound half bad to me. And that day is?
January the 4th.
Sunday,
January the 4th.
Okay, Sunday, January the 4th. And you're asking the wrong guy when it comes to the calendar. I'm telling you that, unfortunately, he is not that. But Sunday, January 4th, because Jody said it, is actually the date that I am seeing here. So Sunday, January 4th for your ham and bean dinner. Send a message over to the Christian County Historical Facebook page, Historical Society Facebook page, if you know you'd like to be involved in it. Ham and bean drive-through. One thing you mentioned there, it sounded like this is a first. Is that the case?
Actually, we did one 2 or 3 years ago between Christmas and New Year's, and just the way things fell, we didn't think it would work this year on, between the two. Mm-hmm. So we went to that first weekend in January, because supposedly if you start your year off with beans, it's a prosperous year. So
well, you're just laying all types of nuggets on us here today. Did not know anything about that. We might have to dive into that for a moment. Sunday, January 4th, a drive-through deal. Come through the front. We'll get you out the back.
Come through the back.
Go out
the front. So enter by the motel and then go out front. So it runs that way better, we think.
And this is why we try to, throw out a couple things at the end there to make sure I was tracking as I properly should have. And we were not as good as we should have there. But $10, ham and beans, you get a quart of them, and that cornbread. Send us a message if you know that is something you are interested in. So a 2 to 3 year break, though, in between of doing so. What made you want to bring it back this year?
Between having to cancel the Christmas dinner, and we're spending faster than we're making. So, we are going to have to look at more fundraising.
Okay. With that being the case, can we talk just for a moment about some of the donations? I think one thing you had mentioned to me, and it's really stuck out to me, is that we'll take anything from like even toilet paper to paper towels. This is what we're not talking about trying to raid you for every dollar you got. We're talking about just a little bit of support. Can you tell us about how those donations get used?
Well, the two biggest expenses, I will say the three biggest expenses we have is the electricity bill, the insurance, and the wages that we pay to have somebody out there in the summer 3 days a week. So it adds up, and we do the best we can, and we're surviving, and that's the biggest thing we can ask for right now.
Well, one way of surviving, and this was a big deal for you guys, is a recent roof renovation, because it blows me away that somebody really stepped up to the plate in such a way. What can you tell us about the folks that did just that, and some of the costs and the time that was associated with it? What about that roof renovation?
Well, our wooden shake shingle roof on the courthouse decided to be a sprinkler back in April when we had a lot of rain, and it was getting the books wet. It was getting everything in the courthouse wet. It was leaking all over the place. And it was pretty detrimental to us when we heard that the repairs were going to be over $40,000. So Whitney Roofing and Brava, the distributor of the shake shingles, got together and they gave us the roof. They come up and put it on. It took them 2 days to do it. It is a composite. It's not true wood, but when you drive by and look up, you cannot tell the difference. It looks wonderful. Whitney did a great job.
And how cool for you to know that, man, that is going to be a tough dollar amount for us to raise. Not only that, if I remember correctly, you said that the previous roof, the one that has just been replaced, had been replaced like 9 years prior or something crazy like that.
Correct. I believe it was in 2016 we put the shake roofs on, but according to Whitney, they weren't put on exactly right. And that was the reason we were having trouble. And the other thing they told us is today's shake shingles aren't anything like the old ones because they make them thinner and they don't let them cure first. So they shrink and warp. And so they were very against the idea of putting wood ones back on, that we would have the same problems. And us as a board thought it was a no-brainer. And we figure we won't be worrying about another roof on that courthouse. So we're excited.
I can imagine. And just really, honestly, for Whitney Roofing, Brava Distributors to help step up to that plate. And then not only that, but take care of all the material, then actually operating, putting that roof on, the labor that's required of that. And then the planning too.
Yeah, they cleaned it up, and it was awesome. And we had a ribbon cutting. We kind of congratulated ourselves for getting the new roof with the chamber. I think back on November the 19th. And Whitney, some of the representatives from Whitney were here. And it just, the workers were surprised and excited that they were working on something that was connected to Lincoln. Mm-hmm. So it kind of blew them away also.
I'm sure that's not something they do every day. And just a really, again, it's just a great deal. And so it deserves some additional time here to talk about those courthouse roof renovations that have taken place, a ribbon cutting having already taken place. And now for years to come, that courthouse is protected. We are talking right now with Jody Heberling, co-president of the Christian County Historical Society. We'll come back with Jody in just one moment. You're listening to WTIM, your information station.
Your information station. WTIM.
The Taylorville Tornadoes are on WTIM. Listen on air or online for all football, boys basketball, and playoff games of both teams on AM, FM, and streamed on the WTIM mobile app. Sponsored by the Taylorville Community Credit Union, the Christian County YMCA, Rural Rentals, and Scooters Coffee.
The purple and gold are coming your way. The Taylorville Tornadoes are going to do it today.
I'm I'm Regional Radio Multimedia Specialist Brittany Reynolds. If you want to reach local farmers and when decisions matter most, WTIM, your ag information station, connects your message directly to their ears when they're in the field, in the tractor, or planning their next season. Our over 9 hours a day of ag programming and 2 hours every Saturday deliver your message to the agricultural decision makers who depend on radio every day. WTIM, AM, FM, and online deliver results that digital simply can't match. Visit IllinoisFarmRadio.com to learn more.
Weather's getting colder, sun setting earlier, making you thankful for your warm, cozy bed. Just Beds is having a dreamy nationwide factory authorized sale. Give thanks to the Yawn Exterminators and save $400 on the Bemco Premium Mattress or $600 on the luxury Chatham & Wells mattress. Save an additional 10% off the sale price on all Bemco, Max Life, and Arctic Breeze, and 15% on Chatham & Wells and Copper. Just Beds on Montvale thankfully offers free delivery, setup, and haul away.
Just Beds.
I'm Will Perkins, President and CEO of Taylorville Community Credit Union. TCCU is proud to be the exclusive sponsor of the Hart Media Group Community Spotlight, allowing a different nonprofit organization to be highlighted on WTIM, WMKR, and WRAN each month.
Hi, I am Vonna Crowder, the Vice President of the Christian County Genealogy Society. We work year-round to preserve the history of the people of this county. Our nonprofit organization has programs throughout the year, family research days, and a cemetery walk. Our library is newly expanded and remodeled, so come and browse at the Pence Building on the Historical Society grounds. We are open Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and have a Saturday volunteer to help you with your family questions. If you want to have hope for the future, you need to stand on the shoulders of the past.
TCCU is proud to be the exclusive sponsor of the Hart Media Group Community Spotlight. Come join us. You'll wonder why you waited. Member NCUA.
Taylorville Care Center's personalized therapy program helps you get back to enjoying the season. Whether it's holiday gatherings or winter walks with the grandkids, they'll get you moving again. Click their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Brandy Bruley here, Superintendent of Taylorville Schools. We're proud to be A+ in academics, the arts, and achievement. Find out the many ways we achieve student success every day by clicking our icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com and go Tornadoes.
WTIM.
And we're back with the WTIM Morning Show here on your information station and brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first and landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Grayson Bauman, and back around with us, Jody Heberling, co-president of the Christian County Historical Society. We talked a whole lot about their persimmon party and the wrap-up of it, roof renovations on that courthouse that just recently got unveiled, and then their ham and bean drive-through. We want to double down on said ham and bean drive-through. Jody, tell us just a little bit more, if you would.
Again, you'll get a quart of bean soup, ham and beans, and there will be ham in it, and some cornbread for $10 a quart. If you don't get advance tickets, we kind of would like an advanced warning that you're planning on coming so we know how much to make. So you can contact us and leave us a message on the answer machine. You can get us. We're on Facebook. We have a web page. We have an email address, of course, on Facebook and the web page also. We do go down to winter hours starting in December, which is just Saturdays. So there would be somebody out there on Saturdays. And we stay that way till the 1st of April. And then we come back to our 3 days a week of Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays from 10 to 3. And we do try to accommodate if somebody's in town at a different, and they're not going to be there on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We usually can find a volunteer to go out with them. And sometimes they're looking for genealogy and we have a good bunch of volunteers that try to make accommodations for people who need some help.
Sure. And with that being the case, though, Saturdays only for right now, unless otherwise kind of told to or notified of until the 1st of April, those winter hours being the case. The ham and bean dinner, Sunday, January 4th of next year, which is a weird thing to say already. And that time was going to run from
11 to 1:30 or we run out. Okay. And we are pretty much closed the month of January. So
Okay.
there's not even anybody out there on Saturdays.
Okay. So that is one good thing of note before we wrap things up for today. Jody, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, as always, Jody Heberling, co-president of the Christian County Historical Society, here on the WTIM Morning Show.
Witkoff to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin next week in Moscow. They will discuss the 28-point U.S. peace